Hi everyone, I'm Garvita and I'm here with two people, Anukriti and Shikha. So they're currently working with the NGO called Antakarna, who are actually actively working for the mental health issues in India. And that's an NGO. So we'll be in talk with both of them, and they are great people. And so I would first like that these people introduce themselves so that you people know what they're working for and who are they. So who'll start? Shikha?
Hi Garvita, thank you so much for having us here. So my name is Shikha Gupta Vijhani. I am a counseling psychologist. I run my clinic by the name Raha the Counseling Center. It's been 10 years now I'm into practice, and I'm a certified career counselor, parenting expert, and I inculcate various therapies into my sessions. I'm a part of Antakarna, and in Antakarna we promote mental health awareness. So we feel before getting the mental disorders or before getting into the issues, why not just have the precautions around and spread mental health before the mental issues. So that's what we work upon. Thank you.
Anukriti?
I agree with Shikha. And hi, I'm Anukriti. I am an third year engineering student. I joined Antakaran through Anjali, who's my school friend and a very big part of it. She actually came up with the idea. Initially, she shared this with a few of her peers, seniors, and of course Shikha, whom she through CRY, the NGO. So, and I joined because I agree with Shikha, and I understand the importance of mental health, and that's what we aim to do at Antakaran Group, to spread awareness.
Okay, so you're doing an incredible job, I must say. So I hope that you were able to mobilize more and more people so that in India the situation or the topic of mental health just gains popularity and people start talking about it and don't think that it's a taboo or something. So recently we all heard about the death of or the demise of Sushant Singh Rajput, who was a great actor, and we were hearing that in news that he was suffering from depression. Truly speaking, whenever, if, for example, if one day I go and talk to my parents and say that I'm suffering from something like that, they won't accept it. So how to actually understand that you're suffering from some of the mental health issues, you need to talk to somebody, you have to come out, how to actually start talking about it, how to actually identify that you're suffering from something.
Okay, so I'll just start with the basic education that is required to identify, when you are mentally healthy or not healthy. So when we have emotions, we understand emotions, and we all are blessed with the basic 6 universal emotions. But in emotions, there is a negative and a positive emotion. The problem is the negative emotion, right? But even in negative, let's understand there is a healthy negative emotion and there is an unhealthy negative emotion. So the healthy negative emotion, if I quote by an example, is suppose my pet dies, I'll be sad. That's a very healthy response. But I'm sad, so it's a negative emotion. But in that emotion, if I'm doing all my duties, I'm going to my work, I'm looking after my family, having my meals, then that is defined as healthy negative emotion, right? Whereas the unhealthy negative emotions are those emotions wherein your routine life is dysfunctional. Whatever you are doing in your routine span, everything has come to a standstill, or probably you're not doing it appropriately, or you're just sitting around. So that is the unhealthy negative emotion. So the way that you can identify with your people around is if their routine life is dysfunctional for more than 2 weeks and in a continuation, then for people like us it helps us to identify that that person is going through some mental disorder. Because when we are unhealthy, if I am physically sick, you will be able to see that through my face and my energy levels. But if I'm mentally not well, mentally sick, then probably nobody will come to know, and they will say she's just using excuses to just lay down and not do the work. So these are the symptoms through which you can identify that the person is actually going through unhealthy negative emotions and the person needs help. Anukriti would like to add?
With what I've seen with friends and family. For example, this happened with me in college, I guess last year. One of my classmates suffers from anxiety, and it's been 1 year since I've been with Antakaran, and we have been active for 1 year. So, just while talking, once I understand, the difference, the connotations of using words like anxiety and depression, too casually. And even then, once while talking, I use the word depression, somewhat casually, like something bad happened, and I said I'm feeling depressed, and she felt bad about it. She got offended, and she corrected me. And at the time, I felt defensive, even though I knew that I was wrong. I felt defensive because she had pointed it out. But that's just the scope of how in our culture how it's taken. We treat it very casually. We use words very casually like these, and it just perpetuates the stigma and how people look at it.
Absolutely, you're like very right. So, having understood that there are like some negative feelings, you need to look after them. You need to understand them. how do we actually overcome it? Like, should we like directly go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist? Because there's another taboo that people think that going to a psychiatrist means you're mentally sick. So that is something very offending to the people themselves. So they'll think, no, no, we are okay. We cannot go to a psychiatrist. How to remove that thing and how to actually overcome it with like simple methods, not being over the top, and just solving the problem at the very base itself.
Yeah. So first I'll answer the first question, that how to remove the stigma. See, we need to understand that, so there needs to be some psychoeducation regarding this. We need to have this awareness that my body is run through my mind. The entire body is run by this mind. If I am so okay accepting my body issues and my sickness, physical sickness, then what harm is there in picking up my mental issues? Now the problem comes because of the conditioning and the environment that we have been brought up. Probably now the awareness is coming, but if we see our parents' generation or even generation before that, they never studied these concepts, or they've never heard about these concepts, and that is why they come up with this stigma that this is something which is not appropriate, because they don't have the awareness. So to bring the awareness, to bring, we need to educate people around us. We need to talk about these things, just like we talk about that weight issues are there, or that person is too skinny or too fat. Similarly, we need to talk about that, what depression actually is, because normally people use sadness and depression simultaneously. So that basic awareness is not there, what actually depression is and what is a sadness. Sadness is a basic emotion which everybody experiences. So that's how I think I can answer your first question, that we need to educate people around us, and this will go slowly but gradually. This will be there. Yeah, Anukriti would like to add if she's there. Okay, I'll answer the next question as well. So the next thing you asked was how to overcome. Yeah. So, once we educate ourselves upon these concepts, and so if I understand what anxiety is nothing but something, when I'm living in the future. Anxiety the first concern is what if? What if I don't succeed? What if I mumble on my stage performance? What if I don't clear my exams? So anxiety is that. So if I understand the concept that anxiety talks about the future, I can then try to get back myself by being in the present. So I know that the output is not in my hand. I know that, if I go for my exam, I don't know whether I will score 100% or 90%. But what I'm very sure right now is that I can prepare 100% for that exam. My input could be 100%. So instead of putting my energy and thoughts in the future, if I put focus more about right now, then probably that anxiety would diminish. So these are the very simple techniques which you can do by being in the present. For that, you don't have to go to a psychiatrist, not to a psychologist. You can just jot down few things which actually, brings you to your moment. It could be your things which you like. It could be any activity or any friend with whom you just connect and just be yourself. Get back in that moment and then start working upon it.
I think I'd like to add something.
The person I was talking about, she has anxiety. She's very people kind of person. When she's feeling sad, normally when we're feeling sad, of course we want to talk to somebody, share it with somebody. But she's the sort of person who wants a lot of people to talk to, a lot of people to understand. And her friends often get tired of always they call it like pampering her, or always listening to her problems, because she's always unloading her problems on them. And so she feels like people don't understand, and people like she feels lonely. And also a lot of the times she herself feels like a burden, even though she's not the problem. The problem is the anxiety she's suffering from.
Having given this example, I really feel people around us make things even worse for us. For example, if somebody, because they don't understand the basic difference between sadness, depression. Because if we say, for example, I'm feeling, because as she said, as Anukriti mentioned, people use these terms interchangeably everywhere. For example, I'm feeling something happened, I'm feeling depressed. This should not happen, right? There should be proper distinction between these concepts. And also because of that, people have actually related these issues with being mental or mentally sick completely. This should be like separated, because mental health issues doesn't mean that you're mental. There's like a complete difference between the two. What do you think about this, and how can we actually eradicate this problem? Because this is like increasingly, what do you say? This happens in India every time when we talk about it. What can we do about this? For example, you're running a NGO and it is actively working for it. What do you people do? What are your experiences to say? Shikha or Anukriti will talk about it.
Okay, like Shikha mentioned in the beginning, our focus is on, not like you mentioned the actor's death. People always react to it when it's, it's taken the extreme, the result of all of these problems. So one of our aims as Antakaran Group is to, address these problems at the beginning when we suffer from mental health issues. Even little things like losing a loved one, or maybe failure at school, people fail classes or maybe a subject, or losing a friend, things like that. And like you said, mental illness is a very later stage, or maybe not everybody has mental illness, and it doesn't need to be about mental illness all the time. Because even if I am suffering, I'm healthy. I can say I don't have any mental illness, but I may suffer from mental health issues. I may fail an exam tomorrow, and I might feel bad about it. I might feel bad about it for 2 weeks, and people will tell me to get over it. But that's not how it works.
Yeah. So yeah, so like through Antakarna, what we are doing is we are actually bringing the awareness. Like I mentioned before, that what we lack as individuals as a society is the education, the psycho education, right? Because our parents and the environment, society before that, when they never saw these issues, so that's why they are not even aware about these issues. And now that issues are coming up, they are thinking it as probably the kids are bringing some lame excuses to live a simple or a easy life. But those parents who just don't want to talk about these issues, when their child is under extreme depression or schizophrenia or an extreme mental disorder, they themselves goes to the psychiatrist and wants a treatment because they want the child to be fine and have a normal healthy life. So the problem is the lack of awareness. So through Antakarna, we are doing that awareness process where we don't consider that once you are sick mentally, illness, then only we'll work upon you. We work from the beginning. So we just tell them how relationships work. If you go for a breakup, or if you have something which is not as per your wishes, what are the techniques which you can apply on yourself and there's come out of those problems. So if you have anger, if you have even anger, if we talk about it, is not in the body, it is in the mind. So even if you're an aggressive person, we just try to inculcate certain basic techniques through our awareness and education, that they can work upon those anger issues and live a normal life. So that's how Antakarna is working upon. Like I mentioned before, the identification is important. So if we understand people around, like Sushant Singh case, though honestly we have no awareness that what exactly happened with him. It's all in the news we are running about, and that's how the lives have become. It's all surface life. Media just shows. Even myself, if I click, for example, 10 pictures of mine, I'll just post one picture which is looking the best, in which probably I'm looking more slim than I actually is. So that is not my reality. So today's generation, today's society is moving away from reality and trying to live a life which is not actually the real life. And that is why all these issues and all these stigmas are, more surfacing. So the only we feel through Antakarna, the only thing is just spreading awareness and just actively, just be very conscious about people around us. If I can see one person around me is not happy, and I will think that probably that person will come to me and talk about it, it's better I go and talk about it. Yeah.
So, it was a great talk, because I have never talked so much in detail about this topic ever, because truly speaking, our schools never taught us about this. Even only if you take humanities in 11th and 12th, psychology, then only you get to know all this. But this was very enriching for me, very informative, and I just hope that whoever watches this video gets to know a lot about it. And obviously, the NGO Antakarna is working a lot for it. So I just hope that you are able to mobilize more and more people, and the people who actually look up to you as an example, as an NGO who's working so much for mental health issues right now. So thank you, Shikha. Thank you, Anukriti, for being here. I wouldn't have imagined what would I have done if not talk about such an important issue at this point in time. So thank you so much.
Thank you.